Welcome to episode 5 of this leap that I'm trying to make from the self-produced micro-budget film into the multi-million dollar film, feature film. This will be my third feature film, and in this episode I'm going to report back. I've heard back from the 2 A-listers who read my script, liked it, asked to see my work, and I now got an answer from them. I will report back on what they said and what happens next. Thank you. As always, before I forget, if you're liking this episode, you know what to do. I think it happens over here. Yep, you know what to do. And what else? Yes, and in every episode, I am including an assignment, some little exercise that will take 2 to 10 minutes of your time and move you forward. Welcome to the Independent Film School. I'm Thier. Welcome back. I heard from these actors who read my script, and I'm going to report back to you on what happened. Before I do that, I wanted to give you a little backstory of how all this came to be, which is that I was working fervently on a show I'm trying to get off the ground. And the show is actually based on my last feature film. I have a pilot. I've actually written several episodes. I have a little show Bible. And that material got into the hands of an actor who would be perfect for this role through a mutual friend. And he really, really loved the pilot. And he contacted me. He was very enthusiastic, and he has a lot of contacts. He's been around the business for a very long time. He'd been a regular at several hit series, so he's very well respected. And he brought my show to Netflix. They said no. He brought it to a showrunner, who then brought it to a major production company. They said no. And but while we were getting all these past letters, people were really responding to it and saying that the work is really, really good, which is why it was getting forwarded. But then after a while, I started to hear from him less and less. Oh, was I excited? Whoo, was I excited, even with all the past letters. It was coming with enough compliments. I was excited, but I started to hear from him less and less. And then at some point he told me that this other show he was trying to get off the ground was gaining traction and things were looking promising with Netflix, and he had to get super focused on that. He was very gracious about it. He was very encouraging. He said that he's still super interested in the show that I'm writing, but he had to get super hyper focused on this other project that was gaining more traction. So on a rational level, I'm like, yes, of course, get focused in, get this show made, so exciting. But on an emotional level, I was in the dumps because I felt like this person who was championing my project was disappearing into the haze. And it was while feeling totally in the dumps about it that I reached out to a friend. Good job, Ella, for reaching out and talking to somebody and not just playing 2 dots on my phone. I reached out to her, and in a conversation with her, I was trying to figure out, like, what do I want to produce next? I knew that I need to produce something. And some kind of like a web series version of the show was just not making my heart sing. And shooting the pilot was not making my heart sing, because a pilot is really a commercial. It's really pitch material. I got excited when I uttered the words, I'm going to produce my 3rd feature film. And then I got excited and I knew exactly which script I wanted to pick out. I've written a lot of scripts over many years, but I knew which one was up for bat. And I pulled it out and I brainstormed with her, and I remember this guy who edited the film of these 2 A-listers I've been in touch with. He edited their film and I spoke to him. If you've seen the previous episodes, you know the rest. So, I'm back in the dumps. That's what happened. They loved the script enough to ask to see my work. And I don't know which of my films they watched. I'm going to assume the last one. And then I didn't hear back, and I didn't hear back, and I didn't hear back. Usually not hearing back for a while, it often means that the person is just not wanting to send a past letter because they feel bad about it. I reached out to the mutual friend and I asked him if he would follow up with them. And he was wonderful, and he followed up, and then he got back to me and he said, not good news. They're going to pass on the project. Oh. Ay, that's what happened. That's what happened. Here's what I don't want you to do. Please, and I mean it, do not leave me comments below this video trying to make me feel better. That stuff drives me nuts. It's not useful. It never makes anybody feel better. I find it kind of embarrassing, actually. But it can come across as arrogant, even though it means well. But also, trying to make somebody feel better is not always a good goal. It's not always what's needed. So I'll tell you in terms of how the week went by, yes, I know what to do next. I'm not looking for advice. I know what to do next. I need to create a wish list, a proper wish list where I list actors who would be really great, who would help me make that leap that I'm talking about. And then start doing detective work and see how to get the script in front of them. I've historically done well with actors. When they read my scripts, they like the writing. So I need to do that. And I've also been kind of stagnating in terms of presentation material. I need a proper pitch deck for this film. And that's going to take some work. So those are things I need to do. I'm very clear on what I need to do next. But let me tell you this. When something crappy happens, if you don't take the time to be upset about it, if everybody's jumping down your neck like some of you will in the comment section and try to make me feel better and encourage me and be like, don't worry about it, da-da-da. When you do that, you're not giving a person the opportunity, the chance that they need to just feel bad. And the thing about that, is just specifically to cry. I had a really good cry this afternoon, really good cry, and I'm so happy about it. I'm so glad I got to cry. It's the reason I can turn on the camera right now and look pretty relatively excited to move on. It's because I had a chance to cry. And as artists, our lives, if we do our work, our lives are going to be mired with past letters, with people turning this down, that down, whatever. I don't care about that. I've been through, I don't know, hundreds of past letters. Look, I wrote my first script as a teenager. I'm 51. Yes, I'm 51, and I'm still at it. So I don't need comments below this video like, keep going. I've been at it for 30 some, however many years. I know to keep going. That's not an issue. But you do need to take the time to heal when you get bruised like this. And it's a disservice to pretend it's not a bruise. What happens when we pretend it's not a bruise and we pretend we're not upset and we just kind of muscle through and keep going is that these wounds pile up and you end up getting stuck. And if you are stuck, if you've been stuck for a while, there's probably a creative bruise somewhere in your life that you haven't gotten to cry about. Because when we don't get to cry about the bruises, eventually we get stuck. It forms too much scar tissue. So yes, I'll create the wish list and I will report to you on what I do next to find those attachments or raise some money and work towards making that leap. I also have it in mind that I'm creating this film this year. So if this film does not leap me in that way, it will move me forward in some way. Every film does. I will produce this film. Like, I'm a filmmaker, I got to do my work. I'm not going to wait for a green light to do my work. I'm going to produce this film this year. But I'm challenging myself to make that leap. And there are going to be heartaches along the way, invariably, and when they happen, I call somebody up. I like to make exchanges. Will you listen to me for 20 minutes and not make me feel better and just let me cry? And then I'll listen to you for 20 minutes. Talk about whatever you want to talk about, or cry or laugh or whatever you need to do. Those exchanges are really great. I do a lot of them. Okay, so that's what happened. I'll see you next week when I tell you what I do next. Optional assignment, 3 to 10 minutes. There are 2 versions of it. You pick which one you want to do. You could also do both. Option 1, set a timer to 10 minutes, 3 to 10 minutes. You decide how long. And just free write during that time. Don't edit, don't try to write well, just free write anything at all. And write about a creative bruise. Write about some old heartache having to do with your creative work. I assure you, every one of us, certainly me for sure, we have so many of them that have gone unhealed and they hold us back unconsciously. So free write about it. Tell some imaginary reader what happened. Option 2, advanced level, reach out to somebody and say, hey, can we exchange 10 minutes of listening time? I listen to you for 10 minutes and you listen to me for 10 minutes. And during each of our turns when we're being listened to, the other person will just listen, offer eye contact, look relaxed, and not interrupt. Not try to make the other person feel better, not reassure, not encourage, just listen. Not fix any problems, just listen. And in your 10 minutes, you could both take this prompt if you want. Talk about some old creative bruise that you might not have gotten to cry about yet. The good news is, any way you've gotten bruised, it's never too late to cry it out, clean it up, and be stronger for it. So either as a free write or as a listening pair, take 10 minutes or so to describe an old creative bruise that would be good to heal from. I'll see you next week. I'll be okay. Don't make me feel better. It's okay. I'm Thier. If you just found me, I recommend heading over to episode 1 and following my efforts sequentially. You can also click below to join me at theindependentfilmschool.com. I've trained thousands of screenwriters and filmmakers, many training sessions. Most of what I offer is free. Click below to join me there.